Hello, my name is Micah, and in this video I'm going to share with you 5 ways to use the Hobonichi Weeks for making art. Whether you're like me and you had intentions for a Hobonichi Weeks that just didn't end up panning out, or you just couldn't resist getting a second one because the covers are so beautiful, or you're trying to decide whether or not to get one for next year, I have some ideas on how to repurpose this planner for art making. Because while this is a great layout for planning or logging, tracking, all that stuff, and there's so many great videos out there on how to do that, I think the Hobonichi Weeks layout can actually inspire you to make art regularly and thus help you build your creative skills, or at the very least ensure that you get some creative playtime in every week. So for a couple weeks now, I've been trying these ideas out, and I'm happy to share them with you. And of course, all of this can be done with any weekly planner. It doesn't have to be a Hobonichi Weeks. That's just what I happen to have. So yeah, let's get into it. Idea number 1 is to do color studies. Pick a reference, and that could be work from famous artists or photographs, and every day you try to pick and match a color from your reference. You could use watercolor, you could use gouache, or maybe even colored pencil. This is great because it trains your eye to see colors and to mix it. It familiarizes you with your art materials. What colors do you have? What colors can you mix? And I just think it's a great way to ensure that you regularly pick up your favorite art medium. Like if you don't have time to do a full painting or even like a painting study every day, you still get to pick up your colors, interact with them, and use them in a way that is going to be beneficial once you do have time to make a bigger piece. So it's a really fun and effective way to help you get better at art. I thoroughly enjoyed making this study, and I think a side benefit will be to also see what palettes artists pick, and it can help you create more variety in color palettes when you create. So yeah, overall, very fun, very doable. You could even pick all of the references way in advance, maybe even for the whole year, and then you have created your own little color study workbook. The second idea is to do drawing studies. This is very similar to the color studies in that you commit to doing studies on a weekly basis. And again, this is great if you don't have time to draw every single day, but you do want to ensure that you do it regularly. This idea is inspired by a video from Yoseka Stationery in which they featured their employee Authan's Hobonichi Weeks. Authan does anatomy studies every single week, and they are incredible. So I'll have a link to that video in the description. Please check it out. For this, you can study artists that you find inspiring or work from photo references. It's also fun and probably very educational to do those two things back to back. So learn from an artist one week, and then the following week apply the techniques you learned to your own interpretation of photo reference. Idea number 3 is to use your Hobonichi Weeks for Gluebooking or sticker bombing. This falls under the category of creative playtime, just having a blast with pattern papers, leftover ephemera, leftover stickers that just don't have anywhere to go, and so you collect them in your Hobonichi Weeks. And it's great because the weekly layout means that you make sure that you get that creative playtime every week. You can add little bits and pieces throughout the week or sit down once a week, however you want to handle that, but it's just a lot of fun. And who knows, you might find that the collages actually end up capturing something that was going on during that week, something that you had on your mind or that was happening in your life, and you create a little collage journal. The fourth idea is to make an illustrated gratitude spread. This might be helpful if you want to do illustrated journaling, but you find a notebook full of blank pages just a little intimidating right now. So you might find that you're less scared of the blank page if the page, well, isn't blank, and when you have to draw small because you're trying to fit an entire week on one spread. So the grid and the size of the Hobonichi Weeks are actually an advantage in this case. But also feel free to not do 7 drawings every week. You might just end up with 4 or 1 drawing. That's still better than no drawing at all, I think. And it's just so wonderful to have this collection of joyful moments to look back on. Idea number 5 is to do character designs. This falls somewhere between educational and playful, depending on how you go about it. But the general idea is to create a character every single week. You assign each day of the week with a character trait to build a 7-step character questionnaire. And so throughout the week, you fill in the questionnaire and thus create a character. At the end of the week, you can draw, paint, or collage your character and include that on the right-hand side. So for my character questionnaire, on Monday, I decided on the name and whether or not it was a human, an animal, or a fantasy character. I personally really enjoy looking up names and learning about name meanings, so that felt like a really natural starting point for me. And so then on Tuesday, I decided on 4 adjectives that describe the character in a nutshell. On Wednesday, I came up with some hobbies for my character. On Thursday, I decided on some quirks. Friday, I wrote out some accessories that my character is often seen with. And then on Saturday, I wrote about their biggest dream. And on Sunday, I wrote a sentence about what my character does on a lazy Sunday afternoon. And thus I created this character called Cassidy. Cassidy as a name, one of the meanings is that it's clever or a curly-haired, so I decided she was going to be a sheep. And in a nutshell, she's kind, creative, clumsy, and thrifty. Her hobbies are writing plays for her friends and sewing. She prefers to sit on the ground rather than on a chair, and often she gives people and things nicknames or comes up with new words to describe things. And she can often be seen with her favorite notebook with a purple star on it. In it, she keeps her notes for plays and costume sketches. And her biggest dream is to direct a musical. On a lazy Sunday afternoon, she sews costumes to the best of her ability for her friends out of thrifted clothing. In the comments below, let me know which one of these ideas is your favorite and if you're gonna try one of these out. And feel free to share any of your own ideas on how to use the Hobonichi Weeks or any weekly calendar for art making and creative playtime. If you found this video helpful, please click the like button. And thank you so much for sharing this time with me. Until next time, happy journaling!